Well, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio now promising every ex-con a job when they get out of jail. Listen.
Obligation is to every day improve the situation on Rikers, and by the way, in the other jails as well. The message will be, literally on the first day, this is a temporary reality. This does not need to be your future. We're going to help you turn it around.
And guess what? He plans on paying for his new initiative with taxpayer money. So here to debate, GOP New York City Councilman Joe Borelli and Democratic New York City Councilman Jumaane Williams. Thank you both for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So, Joe, I'll start with you. The Jails to Jobs initiative, it's going to cost taxpayers $10 million a year. Will it be worth it?
Well, I mean, where do we begin? Let's start with the fact that this is already duplicative of a half-dozen nonprofit and government programs designed to re-enter people and to reacclimate them back into society after they get out of prison. Look, that's by and large a good thing. But what's to say that people who aren't taking advantage of these programs, why would we create an entitlement program to guarantee them a job when there are so many more people that are more deserving? What's to say someone who doesn't want to take personal responsibility even so much as to enroll themselves in one of these programs available to them, why would they show up for this?
Jumaane, that's a good question.
Actually, it's not. We have all of the data shows that these programs work. We as a populace say that we support rehabilitation, but then when we try to put money into it is when we have the problem. We don't have a problem spending money on prisoners. We spend over 130-something thousand a year currently in New York City, only 20,000 on schools. We have a problem only with programs like this, when in actuality, the programs like this show it cuts recidivism rates by anything else. And I believe that's what we want to begin with. We want people who come out of prison not to go back. And so if we can fund a program that has proven results, why would we not do that?
Well, and you say programs because there are several of these programs that already exist, so do we need another one that taxpayers pay for?
Well, I'm confused about that because we have a lot of government programs in many areas that service different people. You have to have programs enough to meet the demand. We have a summer youth program that we're trying to get to universal. It's an 8-week program for all young people. There are already a lot of work programs for young people. This program is 8 weeks, the same thing, the same way.
Well, let's take a look, though, at this kind of break down exactly what the Jails to Jobs program will include. It will include transitional employment. It will pair the ex-convicts with peer navigators for approximately 8,500 ex-cons per year, and as we mentioned already, it costs $10 million per year. $7 million on wages for ex-inmates, $2 million for tuition support, and then $800,000 for those peer navigators. So it's a big cost to taxpayers, Joe.
Look, and that's part of the problem is that we have existing programs. Take, for example, our regular benefit program. 365,512, to be exact, New Yorkers took part in cash assistance programs from our welfare benefit agency. That agency only placed 3,400 people in jobs in the same month. That's less than 1%. These are people who are trying in earnest to get a job. These people, the homeless veterans that Bill de Blasio always talks about, these would be a better place to start if we suddenly have the capacity to add 10,000 new jobs.
And we were just talking about that, Jumaane. 4.8% is the unemployment rate right now in New York City in terms of, I think it was February 2017.
Sure, but the problem is you're trying to pit one population that needs assistance with another, and that's not what we should be doing. We should be funding programs for everyone. But what you missed out on that sheet that you had there was that the recidivism program, because it cuts 40% or 22%, depending where it is, actually returns, we save $4 or $5 each person that does it. And that does add up. And so you're not counting the amount of savings that come in just from taxes being paid now that people have jobs, and the savings that come just from not having the people return back to prison.
But you didn't answer the question, though, Jumaane,
sure.
And I apologize for interrupting you.
No problem.
In terms of, people that need jobs, Joe is right. We have homeless veterans out on the streets. We have college graduates who cannot get jobs. So when you determine who needs a job, you have to kind of look at it. I mean, you have somebody that's broken the law, a convicted felon who's broken the law, and then you have someone who has fought for our country.
Well,
who should you assist in getting a job?
What you have is populations that need assistance, and I'm not going to pit any population against the other. It's funny because I believe that the GOP wants to cut all of the entitlement programs, even the ones that Joe spoke about, so that's a kind of amusing to me. But what I will say is I support programs for the veterans. I support programs for homeless as well. What we have to do is support programs programs for people who are a re-entry because we don't want them to come back. What we do is set them up for failure, and then they are recidivists, and then we have another problem.
But there's only so much money out there.
That is true, but this is known to work.
Okay.
So we don't want our prisoners going back to prison. So we can't say that and then not fund the programs that are proven to work.
All right. Thank you so much for both of you joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.